Oh man, oh man, oh man. Not again, not again, not again. Another day of full bullshit going on out here, man. Let me get it set up, man. You already know. Make sure I got it right. Test this, make sure we up and running. Make sure we working. No, that ain't it. Here we go. There we go. There we go. Test this. Get this right. Make sure it's working so I can get everything right. Make sure it's working so I can get everything right. Yep, we good. All right. Whew. All right. Sorry for the delay, y'all. Let me take a sip of my water real quick. About to get real hot on the porch, man. It's your boy King Moses. Saying a lot of shit, man. Saying a lot of shit it ain't right. Y'all think I'm crazy. Y'all think y'all playing around with me, man. Y'all playing with me. It seemed like I'm motherfucking crazy. As soon as I say one goddamn thing that I think is just common sense shit, is always a couple motherfuckers that act like they don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Like I'm over exaggerating. Like I'm just tripping. Maybe I guess I'm crazy. I guess I'm crazy. I don't know what the hell I be talking about, man. Hold up. I'm gonna tag a few folks or whatever too, man, because I want them to watch. We gonna get right into it in a second, man. I'm gonna tag a couple folks, man. Motherfuckers is really out here playing with me like I'm some. Hold up. It's a simple answer, bro. I've seen so many references to that phrase. Like, what do you say? Sort of weird. Nah, Nah, no. We're not doing that, Curry. Nah, nah. They ain't gonna fly. Hold on, y'all. Type of quick shit to my boy Olympus that be on Call of Duty with me talking this bullshit. Talking this bull jive. They ain't about to fly. They ain't about to fly at all, man. So look, this whole shit is titled about how motherfuckers still don't understand what the simping is, or whatever, right? You feel what I'm saying? Like, I just don't understand how it's not that hard to comprehend. And I don't understand why people would try to overcomplicate the definition of this shit. You feel what I'm saying? Like, it's certain things that's like got a general definition or whatever, and some people are gonna look at it as a different type of way. So, like, if I give you a definition of an asshole or whatever, right? Some people might agree or disagree in certain instances on like, oh, this person's an asshole, whatever, whoopie whoop or whatever. But we all know the gist of it or whatever. We shouldn't be super lost on what this is. I don't know why the fuck people are so like lost about what simping is or whatever. Let's get some shit right out on the bat. First of all, I don't want to hear from no women about what simping is or whatever, because most women ain't gonna have a problem. That's Most women ain't gonna have a problem with it. You know why? Because it benefits them. I was talking to one of my friends earlier, whatever, on the post or whatever, and I'm just like, why would a woman be criticizing a man for simping or even saying some shit like that when y'all are the beneficiaries of it? Y'all can meet a simp ass nigga that y'all know that y'all really don't like, or y'all really not checking for like that, or really respect. But as long as he gonna fucking do whatever it is to get your attention or to get you, whether it's money, uh, mentally, whatever the fuck, you feel what I'm saying? Y'all gonna benefit from it until y'all gonna get tired of it, and then y'all gonna move on to the next motherfucker. Y'all really don't like this motherfucker. Y'all really don't respect him. He's not your first choice. But this man is so desperate to go above and beyond to obtain you, and you feel at some point that you'll entertain it. That's basically it. I mean, I got a bunch of list of niggas that you can clearly just define as a simp nigga. You feel what I'm saying? So I'll get into that in a second. But the reason why I posted this shit or whatever, and I'm doing this video today, whatever, because of the nigga Jay Crowder, right? So Jay Crowder, he played for the Suns or whatever. Some gypsy tried to expose him or whatever, and all this shit or whatever. And then I posted up on my Facebook or whatever. I'm like, just another simp exposed, whoopty whoop. And then goddamn motherfuckers on there talking about how is he simping? That's not simping and whoopty whoop or whatever. And the usual suspects or whatever, the people that I've had discussions with about all this shit, and they don't see no problem with it. You feel what I'm saying? I strongly disagree. You feel what I'm saying? But this is where the whole shit started, and it's just like, man, look, man, I'd rather a nigga just be a simp or whatever the fuck, and be like, look, man, this is what I do, whatever. I don't see nothing wrong with it, and this is how I identify myself as. Like, if you again identify yourself as that such person, that's what you want to do. That's fine. I'm not here to change you as a person, but like, don't get mad at the nigga calling you out for what you doing. Like, if you simping, you simping. Like, it shouldn't be that hard. So I'm gonna get into, first of all, the whole situation on why I feel he was a simp. You feel what I'm saying? And this is one of the questions that I asked one of my friends, whatever, on the comments or whatever, was talking about um, how is he a simp, right? So let me go read the shit or whatever, because I just couldn't believe the shit or whatever. Like, first of all, I already told you about these fucking entertainer niggas and these rapper niggas, these fucking uh, sports players. They just be doing the most now. Like, I just don't understand. Like, you're in a position of power and you are giving it away. Like, you just acting like you just have to go above and beyond to do unnecessary shit to obtain these women when you do not. I don't know. Where the fuck is this motherfucker at? Jay Crowder talking this shit. I'm gonna read the tweet. First of all, he dealing with this fucking this gypsy, whatever. And I told y'all about these gypsies, and y'all keep falling for their shit. They want attention. Obviously, he wanted this one or whatever, and he was horn dogging over, lusting over, and she really don't give a fuck about him or whatever, and she just wanted the attention to like show off, to be like, hey, I can book an NBA guy or whatever. This guy is on me. Like I must be something so special that this NBA player just was like really after me in my DMs or whatever, and they feel that they getting some type of clout or whatever to post these DMs to be like, yeah, I'm that special or whatever the fuck. And these guys keep falling for this shit, man. I don't even know why. Like, I'm not saying that you shouldn't be like in their DM or, but like, it just shows like a sign of weakness, in my opinion, or whatever, on like some of these dudes and their approach is like, you ain't got to do all that shit or whatever. Like, I just don't get it. And they should know that there's a whole bunch of women out there that's going to be trying to get clout or blow up off of these niggas reaching out to them. You feel what I'm saying? Now, the girl is white. You feel what I'm saying? Whatever your preference is or whatever, whatever. But this is extra context to the whole shit. You feel what I'm saying? He's a black man trying to talk to this white girl or whatever. She looked like some just average joint or whatever. But I mean, whatever. So this is what the motherfucker says in the tweet. The girl says waking up to a message from a Phoenix Sun player wasn't exactly what I expected to wake up to today. Somebody replied back and said, "I'm sorry, do what?" She said, "No, legit." So she screenshots the message from Drake Crowder messaging in the DM. So this motherfucker gonna talk about some, "Hey love, you have my attention. Send me your snap, please. Sorry, I don't know if you're into black guys or not." Those were the messages. Now, again, whatever people want to say or whatever in the DM to try to introduce themselves to women or whatever, I mean, that's on them. The problem that I had with this shit was the last sentence. Are you into black guys or not? And I think this is where the situation is that I have a problem with, and people are not like picking up on or whatever. Some people saying, "Oh, that's weird" or whatever, but I don't think it's under the simp category, whatever. Again, I mean, like, I just don't understand why. What kind of answer was he expecting from that? If she says yes, I'm into black guys, like, then what? Like, okay. If or what if she says no, I'm not into black guys? What is your response going to be? Like, if she's not into black guys and you're a black man approaching a white woman, I mean, why do you have to ask that? Like, it should just be like, if she ain't interested in you, then she just ain't interested, and then just keep it moving. But like, when you ask these type of questions, it just seems like you're unsure of yourself. And that's the thing that I don't get. Like, if you are in this position of power, why are you unsure of yourself when you're trying to approach a woman? And simp niggas feel unsure about themselves and they try to do the most desperate shit to appease a woman and to obtain them. We don't have to do that. So, like, I don't know what the response was going to be if she said, "No, I'm not into black guys." "Oh, well, I'm different from other black guys. You should give me a chance." Like, I don't fucking know. It's just fucking weirdo ass niggas that don't get no ass type shit be saying or whatever. And I'm disappointed in one of the homies that asked this shit, like, how is this simp behavior, whatever. Like, y'all niggas really asking these type of questions to women when y'all talk to them? Like, that's like me, like, I'm in the streets or whatever, and I go meet this broad or whatever, and I'm just like, "Hey, so are you into tall guys?" Like, if she's not into tall guys, then why is she talking to me in the first place? Why is she even like interacting with me in the first place? I should know as a man, have some type of confidence in myself to be like, yeah, well, I know I could probably get this girl. And if I don't get her, then fuck it. You feel what I'm saying? Like, it just is what it is. But I'm not about to ask no question and open up my, like, "Oh yeah, are you sure you're into guys like me?" Like, that's just fucking stupid. I really want to know what the mindset of somebody that would ask that question would be. But here's a better question, right? Separate the black and the white or whatever, right? Would I be wrong? Let's say if Jay Crowder hit up some black girl, whatever, and he asked that same question, "Are you into black guys?" Would that be weird? Or would that not be like a dumbass question? Because you would assume that a black woman would be into a black man, right? But that's not the case. Some black women aren't into black guys, right? Am I right or wrong? But you wouldn't ask that question to a black girl or black woman or whatever you want to call them. You wouldn't ask that question to a black woman, are you into black guys? You would already just assume that she's into black guys for some reason. So why can't you take that approach when you're talking to any woman, period? Like, why do you have to open yourself up to ask, like, what type of guy that she's into? What the fuck do you care for? Like, if she's talking to you, if she want to talk to you, she gonna talk to you. You should know that. You feel what I'm saying? Oh, let me wait. Let's wait till this plane fly by, because I just don't understand this shit, man. I really just don't understand why y'all niggas is fucking asking these questions, man. I just don't know, man. You know what I mean? Like, I ain't saying the motherfucker gotta be on some like super crazy pimp shit, like, hey bitch, I'm Jay Crowder, you know me, whatever. What's up with that butt or whatever, whoopty whoop or whatever. But like, it's levels to it, my nigga. Like, come on, man. Like, I just don't get it, man. And I guess the best type of definition for a simp that I could like find and kind of like agree with is I'll just say it. So a simp is a slang insult for men who are seen as too attentive and submissive to women, especially out of failed hope of winning some entitled sexual attention or activity from them. Sounds about right to me. I mean, that pretty much wraps it up for me as far as like what the definition of a simp is. I think the nigga Jay Crowder asking that type of question to that broad or whatever just smells like a nigga that's just like unsure of himself and just like really like doing the most to try to obtain this woman or whatever. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know, man. I think it's just one of those things. Maybe I'm wrong, man. Maybe that's why I'm on the porch and I'm an old angry ass man that just can't adjust with the times. I don't want to adjust with these times, man. This shit's just wild, man. I just take a sip of this water, man. I'm sad, man. Sad for these kids because they probably looking up to these niggas and be like, this is how you supposed to be. This is how you supposed to approach women or whatever. I don't know. Then motherfuckers had the nerve to be like, oh, well, he's got to be careful because he's walking on eggshells. But yet you going in the fucking DMs now, knowing how technology is, where you can get screenshotted and be like, yeah, like, man, come on, man. Like, let's stop making excuses for these niggas, man. These fucking simp ass niggas. And if you doing that type of shit or you condoning that shit, man, then you want some simp shit too, whatever. You probably did some simp shit. Now, let me get this shit straight. Anybody can be a simp, or niggas have had their phases when they've been simps. And then I was talking to my wife about it. She's like, oh, well, can someone that's considered a married guy be a simp or whatever? And I'm like, yeah. Like, I mean, if you were a simp and you were like desperate to get a woman at any or all costs, you were a simp before you got married. So just because you got married don't mean that you stop being a simp or whatever. And I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, yeah, if I'm doing something to show appreciation to my wife or whatever, you know what I mean? That's what she deserves or whatever. But we should be at a level where like we should know how this goes. So I don't have to overdo it. Like, I don't have to fucking surprise her. Like, you know, I feel like once in a while I want to surprise her at a job, you know what I mean? Do some special occasion shit or whatever, show up with some flowers or candy, whatever. All right, cool. I don't need to do that shit every fucking day. You feel what I'm saying? Like, all that over emotional Ricky romance shit or whatever. Like, come on, man. Come on, man. Like, that's the shit, like, especially when you new in a relationship or whatever. Like, all right, you getting to know somebody, trying to impress them. Like, yeah, all right, you do some shit or whatever. But like, some of you niggas just be overdoing it, man. You feel what I'm saying? I got a bunch of fucking situations and list of names specifically that I've been watching or whatever that I can be like, yup, that's a clear definition of a simp. You feel what I'm saying? So you might disagree about the Jay Crowder shit, but that's my opinion on it or whatever. That nigga asking that question or whatever, that shit just seemed like some simp ass nigga shit. Because he was gonna open himself up to come up with some desperate ass response so he could get that damn girl. That's basically what that is. And he probably asked that question because he used to dealing with them types that he feels like that's a safe entrance into having a conversation with a woman. But he just met the wrong gypsy that was just like, you're just fucking weird, and I'm about to expose you to try to get some fucking clout, and maybe the right sucker ass nigga gonna come up to me the right way, and I'm gonna finesse him, because that's what they do. Y'all deal with these fucking gypsies. All right, now I'm gonna get into a couple of these main people, whatever, that I've identified, and there's a couple people that I like put out as example, and people was like, nah, that's not necessarily true, whatever. And most of these people are from like the 1990s era. Now, I will say this, I can maybe back off of during that time period, it might not have been considered simping because times were different then. In the 90s, we didn't have the same technology where you had to be like on the phone talking to a woman for hours and all this shit or whatever. You feel what I'm saying? Like it was, you know what I mean? You had to like do certain shit because of the technology restraints that they had. Like you didn't have videos like that where you could, you know, just see somebody that easy or talk to somebody that easy, whatever. You feel what I'm saying? So it was a little different. But you can't use, maybe that was my mistake. Maybe back then they weren't simping. That was just the thing to do. But if you try to do what they doing in the 90s now, I feel that will be considered simping, because it's like, why do you need to do that or whatever when there's like no need for you to do that? You feel what I'm saying? Like, I just don't understand like some of the shit that I'll get into it in a little bit. But like, technology is a little bit easier now, and especially the times and the women are different now. So you got a lot of these sex workers out here now, whatever. Like, again, it might have been the thing back then to take a woman out for a cup of coffee. Let you ask a broad for a cup of, like, let me take you out for a cup of coffee now. She gonna look like you. She gonna look at you like you're fucking crazy. The fuck is wrong with this nigga? Women barely even know how to say thank you when a nigga hold the door open for them. You feel what I'm saying? So it's just like you can't do some of that shit or whatever, because they just gonna look at you like you crazy. I'm like, why is this nigga like overdoing it or whatever? You feel what I'm saying? Like, it's just crazy. You feel me? But I'm gonna give a couple of examples or whatever, right? You know what I mean? Some of y'all might know. It hurts me to say this because, like I said, I mean, shout out to my boy Jake Goodwin. He, you know, out there on the West Coast, he give me a hard time about Drake or whatever, because I fuck with Drake musically, whatever. But that nigga's a simp. We all know he's a simp. You know what I mean? I don't be like trying to overlook it or whatever, but it's just like I like his music a lot, so I just be just overlooking some of the shit that he be doing. But you gotta admit, the nigga's a simp. You feel what I'm saying? I mean, he don't get no kudos for me for fucking taking a broad out on a date to a fucking what was it, the stadium or whatever, booking Dodger Stadium, and fucking having a candlelight dinner on the fucking baseball field. Nah, nah, that's overdoing it. See, again, in my opinion, women ain't gonna be like, oh, that's he's a sucker, whatever. I mean, someone who don't like him or whatever, and knowing goddamn well that they ain't gonna be able to meet him or whatever. But the majority of the girls will be like, oh, that's so sweet, that's so nice. Why don't more men do shit like that or whatever? What happened to the old-fashioned guys, the romantic guys? Like, chivalry is dead and all that shit. So he gonna be doing all that shit. You think he want to be in a relationship with these broads? No, he just trying to fuck. He ain't no different than all the rest of the niggas. And don't get me wrong, it's a lot of simp niggas that get pussy. Just because you simp it don't mean that you ain't getting pussy. You ain't no different than the nigga out here tricking. Just because you paying for pussy, that don't mean that you're not getting pussy. Like, we're not saying that you ain't fucking, but it's just niggas is cutting corners. You feel what I'm saying? So this nigga out here doing the most or whatever, you know what I mean? Man, we already know Drake. Niggas always call, and the crazy thing is like the broads be always on niggas and be like, yeah, that's the light-skinned niggas. They always say that because the 90s, you had these Albie Shore, Christopher Williams ass niggas that was on that old soft, sensitive shit or whatever, and it was cool for them when it was convenient for them, but overall, they didn't really respect them niggas. They didn't really take them niggas seriously. Women don't know what the hell they want. So that's why they just look, they benefit from the simp, but they don't really respect these niggas at all. At all. They don't respect these niggas at all. But Drake is one. You feel what I'm saying? One of my favorite movies is Thin Line Between Love and Hate, right? And Martin Lawrence's character, he had an issue with the broad or whatever, and I was just like, I just don't like it when niggas be like on this old man, they doing the most to try to get this woman or whatever, so they'll try to play like they in a relationship with them. That was the thing back in the 90s, to be like, yeah, you know, you just act like you go with them so you can get the pussy and fucking dump them or whatever the fuck it was. Niggas was even going all wild where they was telling girls that they love them, doing anything to get the pussy. So he was in that movie, goddamn, whining and dining abroad or whatever, lying, talking about he love her, whatever, all that shit, portraying a role of a man that he really wasn't. He was just playing, he was acting like he wanted to be in love with her, whatever, whoop-de-whoop. And he smashed her, whatever, and then he ended up falling for the Regina King character, whatever, that he really, really liked or whatever. And fucking the girl started going crazy and stalking him or whatever and all this crazy. You seen the movie. But like if he wasn't doing all that Ricky romance shit or whatever, it wouldn't have been that situation. But he did the most to try to get all that for some pussy. All that for some pussy. You feel what I'm saying? The other nigga too, the nigga that played in Juwanna Man or whatever. The one that was loafing with Regina King, and she was telling him nicely, like, you know, I'm not looking for nothing more than a friend. This nigga was driving her up in the Porsche or whatever, taking her out on dates and shit or whatever. Knowing this nigga wasn't about to get up on her, man. But again, these niggas that just wanted to do the most to try to get a woman. You feel what I'm saying? And it didn't work out for them the way they thought it was gonna work. Now, ironically, when the nigga Martin kept it real with fucking Regina King, knowing that he out here fucking bras, whatever, but he ready to settle down and keep it cool, whatever, and he was himself, he was able to get the woman. You feel what I'm saying? And it looked like it would work out if you just be yourself. And some niggas, a lot of them simp niggas that be trying to get these women don't want to be themselves. They want to play whatever role that they think is going to work to get these women. So that's just an example for me, whatever. One other one that was kind of like niggas was kind of pushing back on me about was Eddie Murphy character from Boomerang, right? So he was the one that was he was getting bitches or whatever, but he was doing the most or whatever. And I want to speak specifically about the when he was dealing with Robin Givens, when he was trying to get her. This nigga was on her bad, right? This nigga invited her over to the house. This nigga, you know, he used to get in the broads or whatever with the Chardonnay, cooking at the house, playing Keith Washington and all that shit, making it seem like he loved him and all that shit, making love to him and shit, act like they in a relationship. She was on some G shit. She was just like, she wanted to come over there and watch the game. She wasn't impressed by all that Ricky romance shit or whatever. And she seemed like she was the type that was just like, she just wanted to get with the shits or whatever. Like she was just fucking. She just wanted to keep it real. She was acting like a nigga more than he was. And as soon as he got some coochie from or whatever, this nigga want to fall in love. She was so real. She was even trying to pass him off to one of the homegirls, whatever, was the model, knowing that he get down or whatever. I'm like, why don't you fuck her or whatever? You fucking everybody else or whatever. And this nigga was acting all soft, like I'm not no hoe and all this shit. And that's where he fucked up, man. And he got even to the point where he wasn't interested in Halle Berry at first or whatever, because he was so sprung on the bitch or whatever, Robert Gibbons. And then he realized when he was himself, trying to be the real him, she was somebody that was like a cool chick and was interested in or whatever. End up being with her and almost fucked that up. You feel what I'm saying? And eventually he got it together and then end up being with her or whatever. Shit. But he was being real or whatever with Halle Berry's character and eventually got her. He wasn't in all that bullshit. And it's just like, man, y'all niggas just don't have to be doing all this shit. Now, some niggas I was talking to was just like, yeah, well, you know, he was a player, da-da-da. I'm like, look, man, I ain't saying he wasn't getting no bitches, whatever. Maybe that was the thing back in the 90s, but you cannot be that nigga now. You cannot be up in the club with these bitches up here that's out here twerking and goddamn on Snapchat and OnlyFans, soliciting their vagina for money and be like, yeah, come over to my house and I'll pay you to come over, and then you come over and you goddamn turning the red light on, cooking a 5-course meal and fucking playing R. They don't even play R&B like that no more, man, because these bitches don't want to hear no. These bitches is fucking to fucking Yo Gotti and Moneybag Yo and all types of shit, man. They don't even fucking make love no more. These bitches don't know. That's why R&B is dead now. If you even wanted to get into that bag, you know what you gotta do? You gotta play R&B from like the 90s and the early 2000s. So that should tell you the type of bitches that's out here now, whatever. You can't do that type of shit. So if you was on some old fucking Marcus Graham shit, come up in the club wearing a suit, you know what I mean? Talking nice or abroad or whatever and all that shit, bitches gonna be looking at you like you a fucking sucker. And that's real. And women don't want to admit it. In the back of their mind, they know. They know. You know what I mean? Another one, Tommy for Martin. There was an episode when Tommy had met this girl, whatever, and he was just like all over. He was like, she was like, oh, Tommy, he's so Thomas is so sweet. He's like, no, you are the sweet one. And just started fucking tongue kissing her all in front of the fuck. I was like, man, y'all know the episode I'm talking about, man. Like that shit right there, man. Just overindulging yourself over some fucking woman or whatever. Like not keeping it real. And that's not how you normally act. That's not how you normally act. You feel what I'm saying? And it's just like, at the end of the day, them women don't respect you. I think in that episode, she ended up dipping off with Jerome or whatever. He ended up losing. All that super fucking nice shit and romantic shit, man. Get out of here with that shit. What's the last one? Fucking, I don't know if y'all watch All American. I'll be watching this shit with wifey. And it's this nigga Jordan, it's the quarterback or whatever. This nigga is a super simp. This nigga, I just finished watching the last episode where, first of all, the nigga, this broad was a fucking hussy, heartlet. She up there fucking all the football players from this other team, whatever. Got pregnant, had the baby. This nigga was fucking with her, whatever. And she told him that she had a baby by somebody else. He was ready to adopt the motherfucker and be like, I'm gonna take him on his minds, whoopty whoop, whatever. And then she had the baby. They ended up fucking giving the baby away and all this shit. Then this nigga say, well, I want to marry you. Marries the broad in high school. Then over dramatic ass fucking show. Then they go on a fucking tour to a fucking college or whatever. She up there fracknizing and fucking eyeballing and rubbernecking and goosenecking on some other nigga while he there. He'll be, that's my woman, dog. Leave her alone. She up there horn dogging over other athlete ass nigga. And I told you that's why them fucking them sports player niggas be simping now, because they ain't got no guidance, man. They ain't got no guidance. They ain't got no real nigga talking to them on how to deal with these women. So she over there horn dogging over this other nigga. They supposed to get married. The day of the wedding, she's saying, well, I don't want to get married. Let's just get the marriage annulled and we can go back to being boyfriend and girlfriend. But we're not gonna break up. And I'm like, are you serious? Like, wifey was asking me about that. Like, what are you supposed to do? Like, if you propose to somebody and then it don't work, I'm like, what would you say? I'm like, it's over. How the fuck can you move backwards to be like, oh, well, we will eventually get there? Like, you don't want to get married or whatever. Or like, how can you go back to be boyfriend and girlfriend? That's just ass backwards shit. Might as well just fucking leave her alone. It's crazy. But here another one, super simp. Crazy. Boyce Watkins, the last one. I already did my video on Boyce Watkins, whatever, man. Go read up his story and Google him. I mean, just to reiterate, he's one of them old nerd ass smarty art niggas, whatever. Look like he ain't never got no pussy like that on a regular basis. He was horn dogging and lusting over this broad that he met in college. She didn't want him. She curved him, put him in a friend zone. So he was on some loafing shit for like 20 some years. She was going off, fucking all these other niggas, had babies by other niggas and shit like that. Got divorced during the pandemic. She was bored, hit him up, took the kids down there, and then he just over like less than a year meet up with the broad or whatever, doing all this shit and proposed to her and got a fanny pack on. And she's clearly said in the video, go look it up. It's all on YouTube. She like, yeah, well, you know, I just sold it to my kids, how it benefits us, and you know, da da da, and it just worked out. And you know, I never really even looked at them like more than a friend all these years, and it just so happened during the pandemic that we had a lot in common. And whoop de whoop. See how long that lasts. She don't respect that nigga, simp ass nigga, and then he just every fucking 5 minutes taking pictures of him and his wife. And I ain't got no problem with nobody taking no pictures of their wife or whatever and all that showing you in love, but it's like it's just too much. Like he just puts his wife first all the time. Like oh my gosh, like this nigga seemed like he's so desperate where he just like he would be willing to fucking change his last name if she said so. Like it's niggas out there that's like that. They'll be like they want to be married to this bro so bad that they'll do whatever. Like, oh, I'll change my last name. You don't, man, whatever. It's just crazy, man. But and don't get me wrong, I'll tell you a story, whatever. I mean, all men have been simps at one point. You feel what I'm saying? Some niggas just stay in that lane or whatever, and some niggas wisen up and smarten up. Especially if you're young and you don't know no better, whatever, and you don't learn from your experiences, whatever. Like, I mean, I was in the simp bag too. Where I remember in college, my boys, and it was good that I had a good circle around me, whatever, to be like, man, you tripping. You need to tighten up. And then I was smart enough to recognize I was fucking up or whatever. And I was like, nah, this ain't it. I need to get back on my shit. You feel what I'm saying? I mean, it didn't help that motherfuckers was out here calling me crazy and saying, you wilding out, you need to calm down or whatever. But then when I fucking calmed down, it was too much for them. They couldn't handle it. They was, you know, I mean, I wasn't even cussing. I was just like real polite and just like, you know, it was like, no, that's too much, man. We really don't want that or whatever, man. And I did all this for a woman. You feel what I'm saying? It was my girl at the time, whatever. I was ready to move, transfer schools and all that shit or whatever. But glad that shit I smartened up or whatever. You feel what I'm saying? So, like I said, any man can have their simp phase or whatever, but it's just all about goddamn how you deal with the shit and how you handle it or whatever. But yeah, man, I you know, I just don't understand why niggas is just like not understanding how this shit works and what is the simp asking these damn questions over and over again. Like niggas ain't say this shit or whatever. But y'all learn one day, or some of you niggas just gonna be in denial like a motherfucker, and then that's just what it is, man. So I mean, I don't know what else to say, man. You feel what I'm saying? I'll leave it at that. Y'all can review it or whatever. You feel what I'm saying? Y'all got questions? Y'all hit me up. Y'all know where to find me, man. I'm off the porch, man. I holla.